The next one is 41 Financial Services Limited, represented by Livingston Mukasa.
4,000 years ago, a man named Joseph wrote a financial formula. And you better listen to this formula because it might define your life. He said that in the good days, whenever you earn money, you should be able to save 20% of whatever you earn and save it for the lean years. Talk to any financial analyst and he will tell you this formula still applies up to today. That formula forced me to find where it is. It's in Genesis 41. And I called my company, the one we started, 41 Financial Services. This picture defines a lot of our cities in Africa. On the left side, I lived in that slum for 10 years. In order to prosper, you have to work hard and cross the road, but it's not easy. You've got to be able to cross the road and leave this side. I did, because I started a business that did well. But it became a problem that because I had left my friends, my relatives, my cousins on the other side, and I have dedicated my life to making people cross the road. I've helped more than 20,000 people doing this. But I realized something, that even if they cross the road and they come this side, something will take them back. And they are not really looking at it. How did I know? In 2015, I wrote a book called Investing for the Future to help the emerging middle class in Africa start and prepare for retirement. Because we have escaped, but because of the African tax of expecting our children to be our retirement plan, because we've sent them to study in very good schools, is a huge problem. Because someone like me, you become sandwiched. You are sandwiched in the middle. You're looking after your own children, but you're also carrying your own brothers and sisters behind you. By the way, they call it the African tax. So we end up with people like this. 60 years, 65, he has retired, has no income to support himself. And then I thought maybe they were to blame. But we found something interesting, that because of the way the economies are built, they were built from the colonial times where we expect people to have a job and have their employer save for them. Well, 85% of our people, and that's 14 million in my country, do not have an employer, do not have a contract. They don't have anywhere to save. So rather than blame them, we decided to do a smart thing. We built a micro-pension fund where you can walk in and open an individual retirement account in under 3 minutes and be ready to start saving in that, using mobile money, using the mobile infrastructure. So we started with a simple product, and once we did, we started with Excel, so we could track the contribution that we are coming in, but that was going to cut it. So we built a technology platform. And we decided to make it available for other people that are also in the collecting savings and managing community finance. So we built a long-term savings fund, and then we realized some of the customers were using us as a short-term savings target platform. So we decided, well, you watch what your customers are doing. We built a short-term savings fund for them. Between these two funds, we are serving 4,000 people, and we're approaching nearly 800,000 in savings. Not only have we changed the government approach towards social protection, we forced the World Bank to come and study our model. And we believe this is a way to go forward. As a company, we make money on 1%. We charge a joining fee, and we also charge a percentage on assets under management. We work with partners, mobile money telecoms, and we work with microfinance organizations. And we have raised $230,000 to date, and we're looking to raise another $600,000 to invest in our technology, marketing. Financial literacy is still a big issue, because people do not expect to live longer, even when they're praying to God to live longer. I have a very formidable team. I call them my soldiers. We're committed to this cause. And together, we believe that we can be able to change the narrative about Africa, because something has happened in Africa. The average life expectancy has gone up to 63 years. It's soon catching up with the countries like the US, where it's 76. It will catch up in the next 10 years, it will merge. But if our people do not realize that they will live longer, the chances of me getting to 80 years is about 97% for an African. So we have to prepare our people, introduce the culture of saving, build long-term savings for our economy, so we can actually fund our own economies by mobilizing long-term savings. What I believe in as Livingstone is when we realize that your failure might result in someone living in poverty, perhaps for the rest of your lives, perhaps you don't have a choice, you have to succeed. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Livingstone, thank you for the presentation. I know a little bit about this space because I tried to do something like this in the past and it was very difficult. I have two questions for you. The first one is, what happens to the money once they deposit it with you guys? Are you investing it on their behalf into liquid, diversified funds, or is it just sitting in a savings account, or are you buying bonds? What are you doing with the money to help ensure that it's growing for their retirement in 30, 40 years' time?
Thank you for your question. There is something that is typical in developing economies. If you want to hedge against inflation, you actually don't buy stocks. You buy government paper and treasury bills. So we buy treasury bills, bonds, but we do not make investment decisions. Our funds are professionally managed funds. So we find smart guys and we agree percentages, they manage that. We do the technology and the customer touch.
Okay, fantastic. And then the second question is, what are the regulatory costs associated with you holding monies on behalf of customers?
Regulations have been one of our toughest, because we are the third micro-pension fund in Africa. So the regulators have never regulated something in our country like us. So we have a pension license that we have, and recently, because we realized that our customers do not look at retirement as a destination, as a journey. They look at it as a destination. And on that destination, they need to access housing, they need to access funding for their education. So it will require us to develop further products to actually support their journey.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yes, let me ask you one question. On our continent, okay, the truth remains that most of such businesses have collapsed, and they have not been able to professionally manage people's investments. Now, that has been the case in most African countries, including Ghana. The banks are your competitors. They are doing the same thing you are doing. They have bigger capital, they are well structured, and they have the confidence from the public. Why would someone not invest his future investments with a bank, a universal bank, and invest in your business?
I'll start with the question. People like us are trailblazers. When we find a problem, we go for it. Now, in terms of trust, savings is a buyer's market. People save with you if they like you. If they do not, they take away their money. 4,000 people have made a decision to trust us with their money. And last year, we surprised them by returning 11.5%. A banker would have given you 4%, which would be less than rate of inflation. So by building a reputation over time, we can demonstrate that a small saver, whether saving $10 or saving $100, has no difference with somebody saving $1,000 if we aggregate the savings. And for us, we are in the business of building trust, because this is a necessary service we have to offer. Thank you, sir.